Lagos, good afternoon. You know my name, and these are your hard facts. Today is day 6 of the 16 days of activism against gender based violence. So it's been almost a week since it started. And what I wonder is what has changed for you in the last 6 days? Have you used the last 6 days to fight against gender based violence in your community in some way? It could be something as simple as making sure that in any conversation about man and woman matter, you mention that it's not okay to hit women, or it's not okay to rape women, or there's no reason good enough to rape a woman, and that anybody who does it should go to prison. Simple things like that, actually. It's how you are an activist. Have you done that in the past 6 days? It's also the last day of November, so we have one more month to go, and then 2020 can finally be over. Like it felt like 2020 had 10 years in one. Omo, let 2021 be better, I beg. From next week, Hard Facts will have special year in review segments, and make a no lie, I'm actually dreading some of the stories that we're going to have to go back and look at, because this year, now wow. But congratulations for making it this far. Congratulations for making it this far into the year. Fingers crossed we all make it to the end of the year and we all make it into the new year. In Jesus' name. That's right. Now, there's just one Hard Facts episode left in the year, and it's going to be a great one, starting with the big weekend. Let's talk about the mass murder of farmers in Borno State. Then let's talk about Garba Shehu saying that the farmers did not have clearance to be there. And then let's talk about Lagos-Ibadan Railway starting operations in December, possibly. On Madam Landlord, let's talk about things that every tenant must know before signing that tenancy agreement. It's going to happen at 4 o'clock. On today's Big Hard Fact, let's talk about international sanctions. As you know, the UK Parliament is recommending sanctions against Nigerian government officials because of NSAS and the Lekki shootings. We're going to talk with a foreign affairs expert, and she'll tell us what those sanctions actually mean and what they actually look like. Now, you get news updates on the hour every hour, but let's bring you today's Big Three.
This is the Big Three.
The Big Three. On Hard Facts.
On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
How can security be restored in the Northeast? Can we address insecurity without addressing poverty? And can Nigeria get its trains to work? It was a big weekend, Lagos. Let's talk about it. Armed men slaughtered farmers in Borno State on Saturday. The UN claims that it's the largest recorded killing in Nigeria this year. It happened in the area around the village of Koshobe in Jere local government area. According to reports, the victims were farmers who were working their fields when the armed men struck. Nobody has taken responsibility for the attack yet, and the government hasn't named any suspect. But it should be noted that Boko Haram and ISWAP have been active in that area, and they've killed people in similar ways in the past. Now, there's a bit of disagreement over the official figure of the dead. Here's what Edward Callon had to say about the attack. He's the UN humanitarian coordinator for Nigeria. He said, quote, armed men on motorcycles led a brutal attack on civilian men and women who were harvesting their fields. At least 110 civilians were ruthlessly killed and many others were wounded in this attack. The incident is the most violent direct attack against innocent civilians this year. I call for the perpetrators of this heinous and senseless act to be brought to justice, end quote. But responding to that, here's what Major General John Enenche said. He's the coordinator of Defense Media Operations. And he said, quote, I knew it is going to come up, particularly because it is coming from the United Nations and not a source that does not want to be identified. This is a source that has identified itself that 110 specifically were murdered. Probably we may count up to the figure he gave in the future. But as it is now, what we have counted with the locals is still 43, and we are hoping that we don't get beyond that. This is the real situation. I did not sleep. We had to follow it because it is very relevant coming from the United Nations. End quote. Major General Enenche speaking there. So the army is not exactly disputing Calon and the UN's figure. They're not disputing that from what he said. They're saying that they've only counted 43. It may go up or it may not. But for now, what they have is 43. What are your thoughts on this story? What did you think when you heard about it? This latest massacre, what went through your mind when you heard the news? And what do you think about this slight lack of clarity over the number of the dead? 0700 993 993 0700 993 993. You can also share your thoughts with us via WhatsApp. WhatsApp is 080 959 75805. And we have Twitter. Twitter is at Nigeria Info FM. Facebook is Nigeria Info 99.3. Chioma is on the line, and Chioma is in Ajegunle. Are you in Ajegunle, Chioma?
Yes, I'm in Ajegunle. I'm calling you from Orege.
Thanks for calling us. What did you think when you heard this story?
Well, to me, they just want to divert the mind of Nigerians from the Lekki shooting discussion that has been on ground ever since. There are some people that are against this. What am I trying to say? There are some people that just want to divert our mind from everything that has been happening. They don't want us to concentrate on this Lekki shooting anymore. That is why they bring up all these killings in Borno. And again, another thing that I want to add to this one that they are saying that the farmers don't have the permit or the license to farm where they're supposed to work. Please, does it really worth the taking lives of those farmers? Does it worth their lives? If they don't have the permit or the clearance to work there, why can't you just simply chase them away instead of taking their lives? I mean, I don't understand what is really happening in this country.
Well,
I really want Nigeria.
Well, so there are many things you're saying at the same time. First of all, you said you think that this is a distraction. Who do you think is trying to distract you? Do you believe that that farmers died?
Of course, now it was on the news that farmers were killed by Boko Haram.
Okay.
And to me, it is just a kind of a game trying to divert our mind because they know that
who is playing the game? Who's trying to divert our mind?
The killing of those farmers is political, which everybody knows.
How can you be sure that it is political?
Well, I may not have the evidence, but I know it is political.
How do you know? Tell me. I want to hear how you came to that conclusion.
You see, there has been, well, I will not call it an allegation, but there has been this rumor all around. I won't call it, I don't even know how to say it anyway.
Because, you can't say the killings were political or it's a form of distraction. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Uche in Ojo is on the line. Uche, how are you?
Hello, Sandra. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Maggie Wankwa, welcome.
Sandra, you see, one thing that is spending my heart is what is happening in this country. since APC or since Buhari assumed the office of president up till now, a lot of evil has been happening in this country. Okay, this massacre, this killing that happened, before our president, entered this seat of presidency, he gave a very big assurance of security in this country. But now, the most painful part of it is that we'll be saying our president said. We cannot even see our president where he talk either in radio or on television, and evil keep happening in this country every day. So how are we sure that we are safe? Because all the promises that this man has made to us in the past, we are not seeing anything that is happening. Now look at the people that went to farm with hunger, with sweat, with suffering and everything. They just join the ancestor just like that. It is very painful. It is very, very painful and bad.
Yes,
we are not happy of what is happening in this country. Nothing good, no good news. Every day, bad news from one news to the other.
Well, we have good news on today's Big Three. I'll tell you about the Lagos-Ibadan Railway starting operations in December. That's good news.
Sandra, it is when we are alive. When we are alive, we apply on the road. So we need to be safe already. If we are not safe, how are we going to apply on the road? Please.
Thanks for calling me, Uche. Let's talk to Prince YS in Amuodofe. Prince YS, welcome.
How are you?
I'm not very well. We've got 43 of our brothers, if you believe the army, and 110 of our brothers and sisters, if you believe the UN, who are dead.
In fact, Sandra, I feel the way you feel. It's so sad. If it is 43 or 110, I only want to die. Talking of 43 or 110. In fact, it's a sad story.
It is.
And as it is now, it will be better. And I want to urge Mr. President to call the service chief to a dinner. After the dinner, thank them, please, go and rest. They've done their best. We've seen their best, and as it is now, we need fresh blood to take the challenge now. That's number one. Number two, I still want Mr. President to call our men at the war front for a meeting. If you have a meeting with the service chief, you have to have a meeting with those at war front to throw a question to them. My men, is your salary paid at a record time? Is your allowance being paid? If you do have insurance cover for your family, if something happens on the war front, and if all this is if they say yes, sir, you now ask them why you are no more ready to die for your country, because it seems to me those people that is fighting the Boko Haram, they want to it seems they don't want to do any other thing again. And they may be the leadership, they are not doing the right thing to them. So I see it that way, Sandra. And again, where the United Nations say it is 110, I want them to come down to tell Nigeria, how do you manage to get 110? Do you count the number? Do you saw the number? Do you video the number? That's a big question. Finally, I may not be opportune to come in again. You talk about the Lagos-Ibadan Railway, isn't it? In fact, if it happens, I will say yes. It will gladden my heart. But, Nigeria as it is, no, we are not feeling happy. But I want something to make us happy to happen for the government and for the Nigeria too. Sandra, let me stop here. May God bless you.
Bless you as well, Prince YS. Thank you so much for calling. Let me tell you that Garba Shehu, the president's spokesperson, says the murdered farmers should have gotten clearance from the military before returning to their fields. He said this to BBC's Newsday program, and he said, quote, "The truth has to be said. Was there any military clearance from the military who are in total control of the area? Did anybody ask to resume activity? A window that the terrorists have exploited. So ideally, all of those places ought to probably be allowed to pass through proper military clearance before resettlement or even farmers resuming activities on those fields. End quote. So let's unpack what Garba Shehu is saying. First of all, he said the military are in total control of that area. Do you agree or disagree with this assessment based on what has happened? Second of all, he's suggesting that the military gave no clearance for the farmers to return. Now, an important question to ask is, if the military is in total control of the area, should that not mean that there is no threat? And should that not mean that people should be able to return and be safe? But a second question, if the military did not give clearance and the military is in total control of the area, as Garba Shehu has said, how were the farmers able to get back to their farms without the military stopping them? Now, some commentators are saying that Garba Shehu's statement was insensitive towards the dead, but other people have said that he's just pointing out practical facts. And like he said in that interview, the truth has to be told. I wonder which one you agree with. Now, the UN humanitarian coordinator said something interesting in an interview a few weeks ago. He said farmers living in these areas are faced with a terrible choice. Either they stay at home and starve, or they return to their farms and risk getting killed. What do you think about that particular assessment? So many questions. Pick, the one you like and answer. It's a multi-question exam paper. What do you think about Garba Shehu saying that these farmers failed to get military clearance before returning to their farms? 0700-993-993 993 0700-993-993. You can also share your thoughts via WhatsApp. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. I've got a message from Jimo in Maryland. Jimo says, government has been telling us to go back to the farm. Now, people went back to the farm and were killed. And government is saying, did they have clearance? If farming is so unsafe that we need security clearance to do it, why do they keep telling us to go back to the farm? Jimo from Maryland, thank you for your message. On Twitter, we have another message here from Joy Forever, who says, human lives are not sacrosanct in this place. How absurd is it for farmers to get permit to visit their farms in a place that we have been told is free from Boko Haram? It's good news about the Lagos-Ibadan Rail. I hope the coaches will not be second hands that will stop. We've got Steve Ofere on Twitter who says, so this government doesn't respect even the dead? They said that they have defeated Boko Haram, so which clearance is expected to work in a liberated area? We've got Ambassador One who says, one of the most... Okay, those are very strong words. I'm just going to leave them on Twitter where they are because they're very, very strong words. Danny Oidowu Abayomi says, Sandra, we can't do the same things and expect different results. I pray this government will take issue of lives and property much more seriously. Now let's go back to the phone lines, 0700-993-993. Hello.
Hello?
Thanks for calling. What's your name?
Oh, my name is Sam.
Sam, welcome.
Sandra.
Yes, go ahead. This is Sandra.
How are you?
Very well.
If these people don't even have something to, they shouldn't say it now. People are dying and we are mourning. We are not supposed to say that. A lot of people were killed in Benue. Do they also need military clearance? all over the place. Kaduna as well. People are killing their farms. Does it mean that we need a clearance before we can go to farm now? It's not a good statement. If the government don't have anything to say, they keep quiet.
Right.
Let the people die.
Thanks for calling, Sam. 99.3. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks
Good afternoon. My name is Aguma. I'm calling from Bagada.
Welcome, Aguma.
Every day I struggle to actually know the real mission of this government. When all these things happen, they are talking even now because United Nations got to know about it. So that is why they are so worried and concerned. Otherwise, it could have been like any other day, any other killing that go on every day. So they are troubled because of the international knowledge of it. There was you heard of the one in Kaduna, you heard of every other. And the unfortunate thing, we have a president who doesn't show any empathy on Nigerians people dying each day. Has he ever placed a call to any of this family? Has he ever visited or attended any burial for the people that he governs? Has he? Okay, now they tell us each day that, oh, we are in control. Go about your normal, legitimate business. And now these farmers have gone there, and they say there was no clearance. Are the farmers aware that they need to have a clearance in the first place before going to their farms? They have planted there. I don't know how much clearance they got from the government to get there, to plant there. And the excuses and excuses every day. They say they are in total control. Unlike the previous administration, there is the terrorists have not claimed any land. And here, every time they bomb, they have area bombardment in Nigeria, in their own sovereign land. When will they put the boots on the ground? How can you, in your own country, go about area bombarding you people, and you say you are in control? If you are in control, you don't need to have area bombardment. You walk in there, police go in there, military have their boots on the ground to trash out the perpetrators of this heinous crime. That is how it's done in other crimes. And then I come to talk about the number of the victims. I don't understand in Nigeria, how do you get it? In other crimes, you have the Red Cross going along with the military. You have the paramilitary and the paramedical people who take control of injured people. And I also don't know, again, how when the names of victims, military victims in battlefield, their names got publicized, because we never get to know how many people died, the names of people. In other crimes, when it happens, the moment the military or the government inform the family of the deceased, then they will go ahead and publish the names. But in Nigeria, we never get to know how many people, how many soldiers died in a battle. We hear their number. We don't know their names. The lists are not there. And this, I don't know. I don't know. And the president goes to sleep and see all these things happening. If you can do it, and upon all these things, the security chiefs are still there. If they have tried them and they are not succeeding, why not change? That is what is expected, except there are other missions they are for. Thank you.
Thank you, Aguma, for calling. King's Official on Twitter says, the sad thing is, instead of protecting the lives of Nigerians, President Buhari spent the last 2 weeks hyper-focused on his plan to censor social media. If he hadn't been as focused on censoring, or if he had been as focused on censoring Boko Haram, 110 farmers would not have died such a horrible death. We've got Sly Intellect on Twitter who says, okay. Ayatoimbo Adeshino says, oh no, that's not a message for me. That's a message for the other show. Chigozie Imanaluche on Facebook says, in this time of grief, Garba Shehu said they didn't have clearance. What an insensitive comment. I wish we had someone like Boris Johnson that will send a strong word to the terrorists and follow it up with action. Godwin Igba says, so if I don't have clearance to be in Nigeria Info, the next thing is to kill me? Well, it's not the Nigerian army that did the killing, or it's not the Nigerian state that did the killing. It's it's armed gunmen. We don't know which group yet did this because no one has taken responsibility for doing it. Benjamin Rude Boy says there's no vision or competency in sight. This is cluelessness of the highest order. Chigozie Nwokocha says, for Garba Shehu to say so shows that him and his administration have no regard for human lives. It's very unfortunate. Let's go back to Facebook where we've got more comments. Facebook is Nigeria Info 99.3 and we've got Twitter at Nigeria Info FM, and you can of course definitely share your thoughts with us via WhatsApp. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805 080-959-75805. Back to Facebook now. We've got Cliffords who says conquering an area is a green light that requires no permission. This supposed permission excuse by Garba Shehu from the military by farmers is another word for accepting being defeated by Boko Haram. Government technical defeat were lies and propaganda that are being caught up with realities of tragedies on ground. Ojo Dayo says Nigerians voted for this government probably in good faith. However, the past 5 years of progressive insecurity, killings, and economic wretchedness have destroyed hope and even possible hope for this country. We need divine intervention, Ojo Dayo says. At Antigua, Michael says, what clearance is Shehu Garba talking about and who is clearing them? Does that justify the killings? I wonder whether our politicians consider their utterances before letting them out. Latif Adio says, the spate of killings in Nigeria, especially in the north, is quite alarming. It has to stop. And some people should be queried or questioned for these dastardly acts. All right, Lagos, if you just joined the show, you're listening to Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Every Monday, we bring you the big weekend. And on the big weekend, we tell you about the big stories that broke during the weekend. And armed men slaughtered farmers in Burundu on Saturday. The UN claims it's the largest recorded killing in Nigeria in 2020. It happened around the village of Koshobe in Jere local government. And according to reports, the victims were farmers who were working their fields when the armed men struck. Like I told you earlier on, nobody has taken responsibility for the attack yet, and the government has not named any suspect. But Boko Haram and ISWAP have been active in that area, and they have killed people in similar ways in the past. I also told you that there's disagreement over the official figure of the dead. Edward Callon, who is the UN humanitarian coordinator for Nigeria, said that at least 110 civilians were killed. But Major General John Enenche, the coordinator of defense media operations for the Nigerian army, says that they've counted 43 so far, but they're still counting. So it may go up or it may come down. And I've also told you that Garba Shehu, the president's spokesman, says that the murdered farmers should have gotten clearance from the military before returning to their fields. He said that the military are in total control of the area, but clearance should have been gotten from the military before going back to the farms. The farmers needed to ask before they resumed activity. That because they didn't ask, there was a window of opportunity, and so the terrorists exploited that. And then he says that ideally all of those places ought to probably be allowed to pass through proper military clearance before resettlement or even farmers resuming activities on those fields. And when I brought you that story, I had to unpack it. I had several questions. First of all, if the military is in total control of that area why why does there need to be clearance before people can return? Because if the military is in total control, should that not mean that there is no threat? Should that not mean that people should be able to return and be safe? And if military did not give clearance and the military is in total control of the area, as Garba Shehu said, how were the farmers able to go back to their farms and the military did not stop them and say, hey, we didn't give you clearance. Why are you back in your farm? Now to our next story, still on the murders. The most critical problem we have is that hunger and poverty are breeding insecurity. Rotimi Amechi said that. He's the Minister for Transport. And he said this particular thing when he was asked about the killings in Borno State and how we can improve security. Amechi says that the root cause of all of this is poverty. He said if people were not poor, Boko Haram will not be able to indoctrinate them and recruit them. Now, it's not the first time that Amechi has said this. In fact, this is something that he says quite often. When he was governor of Rivers State, he famously said that if poor people in Nigeria run out of food to eat, they're going to start eating the rich. So you can see Amechi has been consistent for years in believing that hunger causes insecurity and that the solution for insecurity is to reduce poverty and hunger. Do you agree with him? And if you agree with him, how do you feel about the current economic situation? We just slipped into a recession. Even before the recession, we had very slow economic growth for years. In fact, the population has been growing faster than the economy, meaning that our GDP per capita has been shrinking. And then you look at unemployment. Unemployment figures have been rising. Underemployment has been rising too. So basically, more and more people are making less and less money. And while it may be worse in some parts of the north, it's actually a nationwide problem. Every region is seeing jobs go down and GDP slow down. So if you believe Amechi, something has to be done to prevent this economic problem from becoming a security problem. What is that thing? How should Nigeria tackle this hunger and poverty problem? Do you even agree with Amechi, or do you think, he's wrong to say what he said? 0700-993-993-993 0700-993-993. One story, different angles. Come at it from whatever angle you'd like to come at it from. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. Let's talk to Simeon. Simeon is in VI here. Hello, Simeon. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
How are you, Simeon? Welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon. Am I on to Sandra?
Yes, you're talking to Sandra, Simeon. Go ahead.
Okay. Afternoon, Sandra. Okay. First and foremost, Rotimi Amechi is terribly wrong. I don't even know how to describe his mistaken assertions.
Okay.
How can a human being say that? So the poverty we're talking about, of course, is widespread, whereas it is worse in the north. We know it's widespread. So why don't we become terrorists in the south once we get poor? Once we are broke or, we don't have what to eat or something, we become terrorists.
Well, we become kidnappers in the south.
No. Even the kidnapping thing is not, it's a one-off event. It's not something that is so widespread as to come and kill 43 people. For what? No matter what we always try to democratize these things to give it a national spread. I don't know what kind of human beings we are in Nigeria. We can't call a spade a spade. We want to say it's national thing, is everywhere. What is national thing? It is not poverty that is the problem in the north. Why can't we call a spade a spade? Well, how long are we? Let me warn. Look, everybody knows the truth. Okay? We know that the structure of the country is the problem. If you wait the next 1,000 years, nothing will change. you can see the mentality of people in the south is different from that of the people in the north.
Is it very different? We've got armed robbers in the south. We've got militants in the south. We've got kidnappers in the south. That's from poverty. Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something, Sandra. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The two regions. I want to just talk about two regions now: the north and south.
Mm-hmm.
They are culturally immiscible. Oil and water cannot mix. It doesn't matter how long you try it. Okay, so the cultural differences are not solvable. They're not solvable. You are wasting your time trying to resolve it. You can't resolve it. Let me tell you why you're having problem in the north. Okay, so you have a people who have decided that they want to set up a kind of government that I agree with. By the way, you have a constitution that is not talking about one legal construct. You have Sharia, you have the other ones. So people believe what they want to believe. They obey what they want to obey when it is convenient to them. How can you have a country run like that?
Well, Sharia is actually not in the constitution, but I understand what you mean.
You don't have caddies in the constitution? You don't have grand caddies? What are you saying? Sharia is recognized in the Nigerian constitution. We have caddies paid by the Nigerian government. So what I'm saying is you cannot continue to try to mix things up to unify what can never be unified. And then the military is there lying, and we have a federal government. We don't even know who is Nigeria's president. We don't know what's going on there. They tell you presidency. Who is president, for God's sake?
Simeon, thanks for calling. I have to say, of course, that recognized caddies is not the same thing as Sharia, but it's a long conversation with a lot of backstory, and there's not a lot of time to really get into it. Victor in VI, how are you?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, about Rotimi Amechi's comment.
Yeah.
He's making this comment as a politician.
Mm.
And I don't want to quit, but the problem in the north is this. I'll keep on repeating it. The elders or the elite in the north have relegated the ordinary people.
Okay.
And enslaved them to continue serving them.
Okay.
Not telling them the truth, not giving them education. Because they know that when they get education, they will be like them. They don't want them to near their children in terms of quality. They don't want them. They want them to be answering rank adede, my master every time. That is why you see the problem in the north. And for Garba Shehu to come out and say they will have taken permission before going to farm to eat, for God's sake, Sandra. What are the military doing to secure the territory? They know that is the food comes from Nigeria, even for the north, for the northerners. For them to eat, they must farm. Since their elites have relegated them to the background, they have to farm to eat. Now, what stops this federal government and the military to give them?
Hello, Victor? If you can, please call back, Victor. But let me quickly bring you our final story, and then we can talk about all of them at the same time. Remember, I said it was a big weekend, Lagos. He also inspected the Lagos-Ibadan Railway. I'm talking about Rotimi Amechi. He inspected the Lagos-Ibadan Railway this week, and the contractors told him that commercial activity can start next Monday. Yes. So in theory, from next week, people will be able to move from Lagos to Ibadan by train. I was about to say travel, but I changed my mind to move, because really the distance between here and Ibadan isn't long enough to say travel or journey, right? But it would be great if the railway were up and running before Christmas. It will reduce the traffic on the highway, hopefully, if the trains are not breaking down, of course. Amechi also told newsmen about that. He talked about that because remember that we've been seeing a few breakdowns on the Abuja-Kaduna line, and the public hasn't been happy about that because these are new trains that the government just bought. Now, Amechi said, quote, I would like to apologize to Nigerians over what's happening at Abuja to Kaduna line. It's worrisome in the sense that they are brand new locomotives. We may be forced to bring back our old locomotives if the breakdown persists. The locomotives are under warranty. We've called the Chinese to come back and get them, or to get the Chinese to fix them. And if that is happening, then they should bring back the old locomotives, end quote. So that's the situation with the railways. The Lagos-Ibadan line may be up by next week. And the Chinese have been asked to fix the broken locomotives for Abuja, Kaduna. Now, of course, the big question is, how could they have broken down so soon? Because they're supposed to be new, right? Now, imagine that. Imagine that you could live in Ibadan and work in Lagos. That would do so much good for your rent, I think. I don't know. Speaking of rent, we're going to be talking about that industry from 4 to 5 on Madam Landlord. I have 2 real estate lawyers coming on the show between 4 and 5, and they'll be talking to you about the things you should look out for before you sign a tenancy agreement. So don't miss it. We've got Ransom in Ikorodu on the line. Ransom, hi.
I'm fine. Good afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
I've been trying to get this line for more than 5 years now.
Wow.
It is my first time.
Welcome. Congratulations. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you very much. Actually, I just want to make a little contribution. In fact, it was a very painful something based on those people who died, those farmers who died.
Yeah.
I think this morning, when Mimo was speaking about food and other things like kosher something, like inflation on agric, and this can even contribute again. Yeah. We are not moving from one, we are getting into another one again. But the problem we are having in this country is much, but I know God will help us one day.
Okay.
Those soldiers, those armies they are fighting those Boko Haram. Do you think they are well paid?
They are not well paid.
That is one question. We should be asking.
They're not well paid.
If they are well paid, I think they will take these jobs. I know the federal government might release their money, but did they pay them their due allowances? No, things like this can even kill their morale not to do their job, not the way they're supposed to do it. So I know they should check on those things. Those things are very, very important. They should check on it, because you cannot tell me to go and fight a war whereby I'm not being well paid. And even when I die, my family, will they recognize them? I have an auntie in the barracks now.
Yeah.
Her husband now is in one place along that Meduguri area now. To get to the barracks, you see some people, some of them, their husbands have died. They don't even look at them at all. So they should do something about that. That is one. Then secondly, please, I don't know where you will bring these ministers of agric on head. We want to hear from him. Based on this money they said they want to release for farmer, 75 billion, please. Okay. Let's ask him questions. Okay. How many people have they paid this money? How many people are they able to collect this money to do farming?
Okay.
Am I communicating?
You are communicating.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Ransom. Congratulations to Niger Delta, who have woken up now to say they want to, they need seven things, 7 demands. I congratulate them. I think they are waking up now gradually.
Thanks for calling, Ransom. We appreciate it. We've got Joshua in Berja. Hello, Joshua.
Good afternoon, my sister.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I want to take a different tone with respect to this discussion.
Go ahead.
I'm from the northeast.
Okay.
I'm from the region that is most troubled.
Okay.
I want to challenge the southerners. Those that have been calling on radio. I listen to your radio every day from inception. 99.3, 91.3, and then Wazobia, 95.1. I learned they are of the same family, rightly or wrongly, I don't know.
Yes, same, we're sister stations, yes.
Beautiful. But it's most unfortunate that, this is my opinion, we highlight most of the bad things most of the time. Take for instance, today you highlighted 3 things, of which one is good, which is the railway between Lagos and Abuja. I mean, Lagos and Ibadan. We have not taken time to talk on it, even on the radio, to the people. Rather, we keep highlighting this particular thing and this particular thing that are bad. And interestingly, the response from Nigerians is not turning towards that other area. is rather turning towards the bad one and the bad one.
Yeah, because people died. 110 if you believe the UN, and 43 if you believe the army.
I agree with you that people died. I agree with you that the figures are conflicting. Again, another issue for another day. Who do we believe?
But even if one person dies, Joshua, even if one person dies.
I am not talking without pain in my heart with respect to people who died.
No, but don't you think you're sounding insensitive
I lost my father
right now?
in the process. I lost my own personal biological father in this same process. I lost 3 of my uncle's children above 30 in this same process. So you can't be talking with more pain than I am.
Exactly. And so you cannot understand Nigerians who are focusing on the crisis that has affected you.
I am speaking to you from the point of pain, but I choose to rather talk about the good and the bad together. Let's have a balance.
That's your preference. Your preference is to talk about both. Other people will prefer to talk about the bad. Why do you want to knock them for that?
Balance it on the radio. That's what I'm talking about.
I've brought you balance. I've brought you the good news and the bad news.
I have followed you consistently over a long period of time. I want to single you out in particular. I want to thank you for spreading bad news on your own show. Others do spread good news on there's this man called Jimmy on your show. I appreciate you from now to eternity. No matter how bad a thing is, he has a way of making it in a way and manner that you can see reasons. But I must say this, sincerely speaking, with all due respect.
So Joshua, to understand what you're saying, Joshua, let me understand.
In spreading bad news.
Oh, I see. Joshua, let me understand what you're saying. So if Nigerians are dying, Sandra Ezekwesili should not talk about it.
It's not that you're not talking about it. You're not balancing it. You are
okay. Here's what you do for me. Here's what you, Joshua.
In talking about bad news.
Fantastic. I'm glad you talked about Jimmy Disu. He's on air from 9 to 10. Listen to Jimmy Disu. Don't listen to Sandra. Thank you so much. 99.3. Hello.
Hello, Sandra.
How are you?
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's Peter from Lagos Island.
Peter, welcome.
I'm surprised with the last caller that is just saying it from the north. And when you say people died and people should not talk about it, they should talk of other things, other issues. What issues that are more important than human life that have lost? I'm so disappointed with this last caller that I just spoken now. I don't believe it from the north. By saying that if it's his own family that somebody died or his own family that people died, he will not talk about it and will expect people to talk about other things. People should just be sensitive, be very careful speaking on the radio. I'm so sad that hearing that comment from this last caller. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you, Peter, for calling us. 99.3. Hello.
Hello.
How are you? What's your name?
Oh, well, my name is Sam.
Welcome.
Sandra.
Yes.
May God continue to give you the spirit of wisdom how to handle different people. Okay. This matter, if you look at what is happening, you see that people accept it. That is why it is. I try to imagine if I lose one of my children. I have some children. If I lose one, throughout my life, I will never be happy. And I will talk to it or talk on it till I die. May God not allow it to happen. You lose your father, you lose your uncle, you lose your this, and yet you don't see anything bad. In fact, you carry placard everywhere condemning anything like that. People accept it in the north. If 20 people die, before you know it, they gather it in the north and now they bury it. They say that is how God allow it. So God does not allow evil. God does not allow evil. We are the one accepting it. People are dying. One person died. I mean, that person was kidnapped and the Americans came here to come and rescue one person. 43 people are dying and people are not talking. The Northerners have just go and bury them. Tomorrow they bury another one again.
Well, some Northerners are complaining about it.
No, this thing is bad.
Oh no. Sorry about that. I mean, I've seen a lot of Northerners who have condemned the killings, condemned the deaths. And in Joshua's defense, he's not saying that the killings are good. He's just saying, Lagosians should focus on the Lagos-Ibadan story instead of focusing on the people who have died. But see, I don't know how to see the good side of 43 people dying. Maybe Joshua can, but and that makes Joshua a better human being than I am. 0700-993-993-993. Hello, thanks for calling.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. Are you?
I'm okay.
Auntie Sandra.
Sir?
This is Mr. Frank. I'm calling from Ojo Alaba.
Welcome.
Fine. Thank you for welcoming me to your show. First of all, I want to make one correction.
Okay.
Last week, either Friday or Thursday, you said you have over 700 and something.
And 20,000 listeners.
It's more than that.
Okay.
Didn't calculate it very well.
I'm not the one that calculates it. There's an agency that calculates it.
No, they made a mistake.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Fine. Because it's over 5.5 million people.
Wonderful.
Yes. You're my big sister,
Mm-hmm.
And it's your truth and your hard working that brings you to this level you are now. And you will not expect all of us to be supporting you or to like you for your good work. I don't know, and I don't care whosoever that might call and be telling you whatever the person wants to. And the Sandra keeps doing your work. This is your work. And nobody's paying you. It's only Nigeria that is paying you. Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you.
Yes. For me, I don't think I have missed this your program. Rather, maybe I will not call, but I must make sure I go to your show.
Thank you.
I listen. Because I enjoy it. The way you narrate it, the way you pamper people, the way you make people to understand. And the way you feel about those rubbish they are doing there. A human being is a human being, for crying out loud. Okay, look at these people now. They killed people here last time. They were denying some kind of CNN or something. He was trying to say, they said they want to fight. Now, if not for these foreign people now, we wouldn't have known that it was 110, and it must be over 110, and they are saying 45. Some people are there saying that you are celebrating bad things. As we talk of Ibadan Expressway, that they have been eating mud over how many years ago. Up to now, the thing is not still working. I am at your back, and I will follow you, so nothing will happen to you. Yes.
Oh, I hear. Frank, thanks for calling. 99.3, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Thank you. Yeah. In reaction to the minister's comment, saying we go back to locomotives, I don't know if it's really in consonance with what is happening in the world in terms of dropping this kind of locomotive engine.
Well, we're already using locomotives, so
we are, but it's not going to be for long. It's not going to be for long. And when other nations are using electric train, it's talking about going back to a locomotive. Most of these people filling in these positions lack vision, lack intelligence in carrying out their duties. I don't know. I'm just round pegs in round square holes.
Thanks for calling, but we're out of time, unfortunately, and we have to go. But Lagos, thanks for being a part of today's Big Three. I'll bring you the business news, and then we'll talk about the real estate industry. What are things that you need to know before you sign your tenancy agreement? I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, Lagos. Don't go away.
This is your number one station.
99.3.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.